Hey, aloha everybody. Happy weekend to all of you out there. I hope you're all re-energizing and making the most out of your time off. And if you're working this weekend, good luck. A quick video question that came through about how long should you wait until after a breakup before you start dating again. I may or may not have already made a video on this topic, but just a real quick video here on this subject. So look, breakups are really difficult. I'm sure we've all gone through it at some point in our life, and they're also very different. And the way they end is really important. I think it's always a lot easier to move forward and process things if you end and leave a relationship from a position of power. What I mean by that is like when you're not like begging, you're able to just sort of accept what's happened, focus on yourself and move forward. Humans are really weird, and this happens more with men than with women, that we want something more when we know we can't have it. And if you're breaking up with someone or you're going through a breakup, first of all, my heart goes out to you. It's not easy. Just be patient. That's a key word in this. Patience and processing. Okay, so when we go through a difficult breakup, there's going to be a lot of processing that's going to be taking place. And, this is why we just become consumed with thinking about all the things we did, everything we did wrong, everything we did right, what the other person is doing, what the other person is thinking. We just kind of become, a lot of us can become quite obsessed and obsessive about every little detail. And, wanting that person back. It's like such a natural thing. And remember what I just said, with a lot of, especially men, when we know we can't have something, we tend to want it more. But a couple of really important factors to keep in mind if you're going through a breakup and you want to start dating again. So the last thing you want to do is jeopardize any possible great future matches you might have by taking a lot of crap with you from your previous relationship that you haven't gotten over into something new, and potentially ruining and wrecking something that could be really good. The other thing is also, if you're not processing and if you haven't really absorbed, processed, mourned, reflected, learned, grown from the painful experience that can be when we go through a breakup, if you haven't gone through all of that, and instead you've sort of like distracted yourself, and we can distract ourselves by keeping busy, like by partying, by socializing, by drinking, by eating, like so many different ways that we can try to numb the pain and distract ourselves. But one of the ways is by jumping into another relationship. It's unhealthy. It's not only just going to be bad for yourself, or you can't write it off that it's going to be completely bad, but most of the time it's going to end badly, and it's going to not only end badly for yourself, but you're also going to hurt and negatively influence the life of the other person that you're rebound dating with. Well, there's so many different scenarios. Sometimes people take advantage of others who've just come out of a breakup, and you can use them for like sex and entertainment. And so, just be aware that it can potentially create a lot more pain than healing. And you could wind up creating bad karma for yourself as well if you wind up hurting and using someone else for your healing. That, I hate to say, can be more of a female thing that happens, but men do it as well. So whether it's, whatever, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, just keeping in mind that healing is really important, processing is really important. Getting out there and dating again is an important part of moving forward and healing. But first you want to mourn, and there's nothing wrong with crying, and being vulnerable is a strength. Not a lot of people are able to do that. So, our world will look down upon vulnerability, crying, being sad, expressing your feelings, especially if you're a guy, and it will make you feel like that's weak. Mostly it's other men that are going to think that way, or, tomboyish women, or masculine women perhaps, or women that had, stronger, maybe a cold relationship with their father or something like that. But without getting off topic too much, it is absolutely not. It's a strength to be vulnerable, and quickly talking to a lot of men out there. Women are going to appreciate that more. Women are going to see the strength in that more, especially if it's a healthy woman, a healthy female who's got her, good head on her shoulders. She's going to see past all the bodybuilding and all that meathead strength, and understand that vulnerability is actually true strength, because it's not easy to express and share your feelings. So I know a lot of you just probably want a really quick answer. How long should I wait? Well, it's going to depend on a bunch of things. How long were you in a relationship for? I think like the 3-month period is a really critical period. After 3 months, if you're in a relationship with someone, you really ought to, at that point, make a decision of whether or not this is something that you feel is working and you want to invest in, or if you feel like it's not really clicking the way you feel like it should, and you should just get out of it. Because after 3 months, we can tend to, our attachment can start to get a lot stronger. So if you have been in a relationship for more than 3 months, then it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult. You're going to need more time. Let's say if you've been in a relationship for 3 months, right there, I think like you can, if you feel okay to date again after a month, I think that's fine. Again, it depends on how close you guys felt, how serious the relationship was. Did you meet each other's parents? Were you considering future plans, family, all of that kind of stuff? If it was just more dating, and also like how often did you see each other? If the answer to if your answer to these questions is more like, yeah, we saw each other a lot, yeah, it was very serious, yeah, we were talking about family and kids and all of this kind of thing, then you've got to give yourself a break. You've got to take it easy on yourself, and you've got to allow yourself to mourn, to cry, to feel sad, to go through, all the different very healthy natural stages of detaching from someone that you thought was your potential mate and your partner. You see, when we bond with someone, or when we allow ourselves to bond and love someone, it's like we start growing roots into each other. And the longer and the more intense and more serious relationship can be, the relationship, not relationship, hopefully, can be, the deeper our roots can go into each other. So I cannot recommend enough to actually heal as much as you can, process as much as you can, so that you can fully move forward. Remember, slow is fast when it comes to this situation, this type of situation. It might take a bit longer at the beginning, but then you'll be able to move on and get on with your life and feel truly free, feel like you've truly processed and understood the ins and outs and everything, and you have good perspective. Whereas if you do it the other way and you try to because of the pain and the disappointment, and because you feel like you cannot cope with it, you wind up trying to bury it or immediately jump into a rebound. You're just going to prolong everything. What could have been done in a month or 2 months of just, I don't want to overuse the word processing, but like mourning, crying, looking after yourself, reading books, listening to good videos online, listening to good music, growing through the situation. Rather than doing that, you've now created like maybe a year-long mess for yourself if you get into another relationship and that, you don't heal properly. Then you're going to have so much healing and processing that you've left for yourself to do. The good news is we're always going to be able to process things. It's just, why not do it as, soon as you can in the healthiest way possible? Because usually things that are difficult in our lives carry with them a lot of strength and goodness. So your breakup is going to elevate you to another level of you. You're going to be stronger, more passionate, more loving, just more intelligent. You're going to pick even better people than before. You're not going to want someone who was like your ex. You're going to want someone who's better. If you're going to really invest your heart again and your time again, you're not going to want to waste your time again with someone who was at that level, who was, maybe exhibiting things that were not so compatible with you. So your breakup is a blessing in disguise, and absorb as much out of it as you can. Now, here's the thing that scares everyone, is that when we feel those painful feelings, we think that this is going to last forever. We think that, this is my life now. I'm always going to feel miserable. I'm always going to feel empty and sad and alone and detached from life and from fun. So know that type of thinking is normal, and we all feel that way, and it's not going to last. You're going to get through it. Your mood is going to change from hour to hour, from day to day, and while you seem like everything is gloomy and dreadful, trust me, it is going to change. Even though you just cannot see it, you cannot feel it now, it is going to change. You are going to be able to let go of that person. And here's the crazy thing, is that when you get to that point where you're able to let go, you're gonna be seeing things in such a different way, where you're gonna be like, how was I with this person? How was it that I was with this person in the first place? I think that way, looking back to exes that I've had. I'm sure a lot of you out there, I've read in the comments when people have been sharing their stories, how they just feel like, wow, I don't know how I was with that person in the first place. Love can make us a little bit blind, and it's nature's way for us to just get on with it and reproduce, and to create more of our species. If we overthink things too much, we can wind up just being single and not getting on with things, which is also something that's happening in the world more and more. There's more and more single people up in their older, in their later years. People are getting married like in their late 40s, mid 40s nowadays. Every generation, it seems to be, people are having kids and getting married later and later. So if your relationship was 6 months long and it was intense, then I would say that give yourself like 2 or 3 months. And if your relationship was a year long, I would say about the same, like give yourself 2 or 3 months. If your relationship was a year long, let's say, I think more realistic is like 3 to 6 months. Like allow yourself that amount of time. And if it was greater than a year, then I would say give yourself like about 3 to 6 months before you start dating again. Like I said, you don't want to ruin great opportunities that might arise when you're dating and you've still got like, not good feelings in there. Having said that, I'm a huge believer that everything happens for a reason, and you've got to trust what's going on. You know, we tend to like fantasize about the person that we're in a relationship with, and the idea of the person to us is more attractive, and it's the idea of the person that we fall in love with rather than the actual person themselves. We have this idea of this person that we create in our mind, and then when we're with them we could like argue and not get along, and we wonder why, because we don't realize that idea, that fantasy of the person that we've created isn't actually the person who's right in front of us. And when we go through a breakup, a difficult breakup, it's the idea of the person that we're having difficulty with letting go of. It's that fantasy, or you can say it's that we put that person up on a pedestal, but I like to explain it more like it's like this fantasy, and we'll use that person to sort of like, it's like the base to create our fantasy around. So we'll be like, okay, this person kind of is attractive, and I can see this and this, and the rest I'm just going to create this fantasy of who this person should be. And essentially what we're doing is we're creating a lot of unrealistic expectations, because that person isn't who we, our fantasy of them is. I want to also say that, keep in mind that another very interesting thing that happens with us humans when we go through breakups is that after like a few days after our breakup, I would say like it can happen after a week, but it can happen as early as like just a few days after we've gone through our breakup. We just start to forget all the negative stuff with the relationship. We forget everything that was annoying, bad, incompatible about this person. It just all just goes out the window, and all we can remember is how cute they were, all their good, funny, great, beautiful moments that we weren't aware of when we were in the relationship with them, because it was overshadowed by how annoying or how difficult they were. So that's important to note, because the person that you are really missing probably right now doesn't exist. It's just you're only focusing on all the good things. You're forgetting all the terrible, nasty, bad things about this person that made the relationship horrible and difficult for you, which is why I find it really helpful, and I tell everyone to do this, and people who do this move forward the quickest of all, which is write down a list as soon as you can. The sooner you can write this list to the point of your breakup, the better, because it's all fresh in your mind. Write a list of everything that was terrible, annoying about this person, that was unattractive, just unbearable. Write as much of that down as possible, because you are going to forget. You're going to forget it, and then in a couple of months, you're only going to be thinking of how beautiful or how great or how handsome or how smart or how successful or how sweet or just how kind or that person was. And okay, yes, maybe those things existed, but then you're forgetting the 80% of the horrible stuff that led you to like just tap out and be over with this. So, if you were on the receiving end of a breakup, this works for you as well. And if you were the one who initiated the breakup, who dumped the person or ended the relationship, it works for you too. It's not easy on both sides. So just remember the relationship for what it was. Remember the person truly. Don't create a lie in your head of this person being perfect, because they were not. And And then you're going to have to get on with a lot of different things, moving forward to be able to let go. So first of all, that's called the puke list, the list of everything that was terrible. You're remembering the truth. You're not remembering a lie, a fantasy of this person. And what else is important? I think, so once you feel that you're okay with that person dating other people, that's another good sign for you to know that, okay, I can move forward, I can start dating. It's a difficult thing, so take it easy on yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself, don't put too much pressure on yourself, allow yourself, give yourself permission. In fact, I'm giving you permission as someone who has conducted easily over 1,000 coaching sessions. I've been through this myself as well a lot. I'm giving you permission to just unplug, take it easy on yourself, love yourself, bask in some me time, allow that pain to come out, because when you allow it, when you feel it, when you cry, when you scream into a pillow, that's all going to help you process it. Learn, study, don't be afraid of overthinking, because you're going to be trying to analyze every little detail of why, what went wrong. That's okay. That's part of processing. It's the same as like when we digest food, right? Some difficult things that we eat, like a steak, needs more time and, needs all the acid and everything to digest it and break it down. And then we absorb everything that was good. We absorb all the nutrition and the nutrients in the same way as a breakup. We absorb so much knowledge, growth, education, and learning. And then the rest, we crap it out. And the same with your breakup. Like once you've absorbed everything that you can, talk to people, talk to friends, talk to counselors, coaches, read books. Once you feel like you've done as much as you can, there may be some lingering things that are causing you difficulty. That's when it's good to talk to a professional, someone who's got a lot of experience, who's been either through a lot of breakups or has coached people through breakups. People like that can help you see things in a better way, can help guide us out. And once we feel like we've processed and digested that moment as much as possible, then you're going to be able to move forward a lot more easily. And here's one last thing to keep in mind. If the person you've broken up with doesn't want to reach out to you again, or doesn't reach out to you again, doesn't get back in touch with you again, it was never meant to be. This person was not meant for your journey. They maybe came into your journey for a reason, to improve you, to elevate you, so that you can find and meet the right person for you who's coming up next. Because we tend to date and be in relationships with people who are better and better and better. We don't go back down the ladder. We want better. We want someone better than the last. Better doesn't necessarily mean more attractive either. Better can be when you improve yourself, you start to see things differently rather than seeing things in the way society has trained and taught us to see. Society teaches us that certain things are attractive, but is it what you really want? Is it what's best for you? 150 years ago, 200 years ago, society was telling us that large, more overweight women were desirable and attractive. And not just women, but men too, because it was a sign of wealth. So overweight people were, society was telling everybody that that's hot. These people are like, so back then if you'd see like an overweight person, you'd be like, damn. But nowadays, when we see someone who's overweight, we're like, oh no, that's, some people might be attracted. We cannot judge, right? But the reason why it's called overweight is like maybe you're not healthy, you're not looking after yourself, and there could be like reasons why, we're more attracted to people who are more athletic or whatnot. Anyway, we're all different. We can't generalize. Love is love, and we can't judge each other on nowadays. Like, it doesn't matter. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Society tends to paint a picture of what is attractive and desirable, and the wiser, the smarter, the better we get, the less we are influenced by what others are telling us, and the more we know what we want and what's good for us, and that way we can find someone who's better than our last relationship. So I hope this helps out in some way, and if I missed anything in this video, bring it to my attention down below, and I'll try and answer it either in the comments, or I will make another video to follow up. Summertime is on the way, and I'm hoping that you all are in good headspaces coming out of winter and spring, and that you all understand and appreciate that everything is controlled from right here. If you want a beautiful girlfriend or a beautiful or a handsome, great boyfriend, if you want those external things, it all just starts right here. I know it's frustrating. It's such a frustrating, weird way that it works, but it's all here. You just focus on here, improving this, improving the way you see, the way you do things. Meditation is so helpful. Great healthy diet, eating a lot of beautiful veggies and just good healthy foods. Even like for me, like I'm stepping it up. I've always eaten organic since like about 2007. I got hardcore into like organic and healthy, good quality things. But I'm even stepping it up now. And like if you look at certain faiths like Islam or Judaism, they talk about kosher or halal. It's not only in those faiths. If you look at the Native American Indians, if you look at a lot of indigenous people, and I love indigenous people because they're connected to the land for centuries. They've come from their history is their connection to the land. And when you are so connected over generation and generation to a piece of land that you've come from, you haven't been, like a lot of us, we've come from somewhere else, right? But the indigenous, they would also, when they would hunt, the Native American Indians, when they would kill their prey, the deer, whatever that they would hunt, they would pray over it. They would do it with respect. They weren't like factory farms. It's so disrespectful. It's so heartless. It's so cold. It's not just that these animals were stressed out and not eating properly, and they were just pumped full of antibiotics so they don't get sick, and steroids and God knows whatever. Maybe not steroids, but growth hormones. It's not just that, but then the way they're killed, it's done disrespectfully, and everything is important. As I always say on this channel, one day science is going to prove it. We're going to have these crazy goggles where we're going to start seeing energy and intention coming out of us. And when you kill an animal, like I'm not against hunting, but I'm against things being done disrespectfully. And now, like, I'm 44, but I've been eating organic and for a long time, but now I'm starting to think about how the importance of like an animal being killed with respect. Like in the Islamic faith, they pray as they kill an animal. They're doing it in God's name. Now, you can debate God and, Islam, Christianity, you can debate all that, and I respect and I understand that. But the gist of it is to actually take a moment out before you're killing or slaughtering an animal, just to kind of give it a little bit of that respect. And it's the same in kosher, I believe. It's done with prayer. Islam, Christianity, it all comes from, they're all from the same, So it's just, the Native American Indians, the same thing. They would kill a deer, they would like pray. They would say thank you. Thank you to the deer. Thank you for the food, for keeping us alive. So, I believe that doing all of that kind of stuff, it all makes a little difference, and treating people with respect is so important because it nourishes your own soul, and it's such a powerful, wonderful way to be able to live with a good soul, and a good soul, I don't mean that, we're born good or bad. It just means that, that you try your best in life to do the right thing, even though it can be really hard for a host of reasons. Anyway, I'm going to sign off before I wind up rambling for another half an hour. So I'll talk to you all soon, and adios for now.